Okay, I had to redo that video because apparently I didn't have enough space. Well, I need more space, so hopefully now this video can last. Now, okay, I'm gonna make a video basically on something someone brought up. A few people brought up. For me, I think maybe I need to give more of a background of my own personal experiences to let people know where I'm coming from and to let them understand I'm not meaning any malice towards a whole um, type of people. For me, that's not how I am. I, first of all, believe that no matter what someone's ethnicity is, they can think, be, act any certain way. It really doesn't matter to me. I mean, you could be anything. You could be like a different all sorts of personality traits and all sorts of beliefs. You could identify with any political party. I mean, I don't think specific races have certain thoughts or certain ideas or even certain cultures. People always think it does, but really it doesn't, because it all matters on where you grew up, really. And I mean, like, you can't assume someone who is Nigerian American grew up in a Nigerian family. They could have grown up in a Venezuelan American family. You don't know if they've been adopted. You just don't know. And I don't like to stereotype people. So, basically, I don't stereotype anyone on any level. But I'm just saying my experience. There is a few videos that I came across, and I try to subscribe to the channels that I'm more preferential to, but sometimes things slip. In this case, somebody was saying about like black men and things of that nature, and I was just sharing my experience on my interactions with the black community. A lot of the time, people will say with lighter women that usually they try to claim that, like, with colorism and all that, um, darker skinned black women are more the ones who give them problems and stuff and are maybe jealous, things of that nature. For me, in my experience, I don't really experience too much jealousy. I mean, I do encounter some black women who are like they might have an issue in the beginning, but eventually they kind of realize I'm not really, like, I'm a little different from them, you know. And I think they already realize that. And then secondarily, they'll kind of like realize that I'm the kind that's not really going to feed into really negative energy. So usually they just don't really have much issue with me because I'm not going to really give in to a lot of negative energy. I mean, I kind of right now I'm actually working with someone that's kind of like that, but generally, I mean, like, it always resolves itself. I've never had a negative problem with darker skinned black women. And I was just sharing that in my experience, I've generally dealt with more issues with dark skinned black men, especially dark skinned black men who like fetishize lighter skinned women, and ones that are like mostly attracted to light skinned women are drawn into more of a like white looking person. And for me, I mean, I grew up in a community with not a lot of black people, so my attraction to people and to men is generally based on that. That's why generally, like, I'm attracted to white men, Hispanic men, mixed race men sometimes too, Indian men. So there are all kinds of men that I am attracted to, but it's generally not black men because I didn't grow up around a lot of black men or Asian men for that matter. It doesn't mean, I mean, like, it's nothing against them as a people. I mean, I don't see, it's not like my reasons for not being attracted to Asian or black men is not about any stereotype I heard about them or anything like that. I think all people are like people. It doesn't really matter about the color. It's specifically me being, I guess you could say, vain or lack of physical attraction, basically. Um, but for me, I've experienced, for me, that a lot of dark skinned black men will hit on me and will try to, like, ask me out, try to give me their numbers. Like, the first 3 questions or so, they'll start saying, "Do you have a boyfriend?" And I could be like, I was just talking about when the shuttle comes. But the next question is going to be, "Do you have a man? Do you have a boyfriend?" Or, like, they're just different things. Like, one time, just today, I wasn't talking to anyone. And this guy was like, I was like on my phone and I was saying something to someone on my phone, and he was like, um, something about like, "I really like you," or "I'd really like to take you on a date," or whatever. I wasn't even talking to the dude. I totally ignored him. Like, I didn't respond to him the whole time I was standing next to him at all. And that's what I generally do. I just don't respond. I mean, the times I have responded, it just makes things worse. They get more angry. They start freaking out and stuff. And I mean, like, if you just ignore them and don't feel the fire, they'll just blow up on their own, and then they'll just seem really crazy. Or they won't blow up on their own because they know they're blowing up on their own. So that's what I generally do. But it's never a very positive situation for me. And at work, it's like the worst situation ever. I mean, I've been harassed so many times at work. But then again, I must say, in the environment I was in my last job, I did actually deal with some harassment from other races of men, like white guys. But generally, it was easier. I don't know. For me, I mean, like one, I kind of, I would always just pretend with him that I thought he was gay or something, and he'd back off. But like this, like if I did that, they usually get angry and then there'd be like a fight or something. Like, I've had, like, with black guys, like, they always get angry at me. So I always try to avoid them, basically. I know, maybe it's wrong. I don't know. I don't know how else to handle it. I've talked about it to other people in regular life. Like, I just don't know how to really handle them. So usually it's really hostile with them whenever I interact with them. But it's not like I hate them as a people. I don't hate them as a people. It's just, it's a problem. And of course, it's a negative problem, and it's a problem that I've dealt with more than I've dealt with any other people. I've dealt with worse things too. I mean, like I said, 3 times in 1 year, I had to make a report on assault, but it wasn't actual physical assault quite yet. Kept getting close to it though, because of altercations, me basically not responding, telling them to leave me alone and stuff, and them getting aggravated and angry about it. In all 3 cases. One case, he actually ran at me, and someone was like, "Stop, don't." And yeah, I actually made a police report that time, and he actually had to serve time. So, I'm not just making up stuff or being like trying to be hateful towards anyone. It's my real life experience, and it's not against black people or black men. It isn't. It's just a matter of what happens. I don't know. Some people are trying to be like, I was making up stuff. I'm not making up stuff at all. I really didn't have any issue with black men before this experience, really. I think it's like, you look on these YouTube videos and how much they talk about like black men and light skinned women and how they get together and how they love each other and all this. And I think people eat it up, or they believe it, and then they believe that when you see a light skinned woman, that she's going to be preferential. And for me, it's not the way it works. Also, they tend to think that our fathers, lighter skinned women, our fathers are dark skinned black men. My father wasn't a dark skinned black man. He wasn't even black, he was mixed race. So, I don't know. It's just like, for me, this is the dilemma I deal with. And this is the life I live. These are the problems I deal with. I just recently had a situation where, like, 3 days ago, 4 days ago, something like that, where I had to wait for a shuttle overnight later on because I missed my 9:55 shuttle. And while I was waiting there, I went in the bathroom because, I mean, like, I had to wait a while. And there were a lot of, like, black people there, black men there. And one of them ended up following me into the bathroom, trying to basically harass me. I almost got assaulted, and I had to actually get security to basically remove the person. So, I mean, after that day, I did comment some, and I wasn't too happy, obviously, after that situation. But, I mean, it's not like I'm just really just hating on anyone. It's just like, this is my real life experience. And I've experienced some situations, like I said, with white men harassing me, especially like at work and stuff. But generally, I always kind of blame myself on those because I always felt like I talk to other races of men sometimes, but I don't talk to them like that. I mean, I just talk to them, and I mean, if someone likes you, that might open the door for them, and you never know who it is. So for me, I always am like, well, you just don't know, and so most of the time it's okay. And even if it's not, I can always, like, rejection with them is just easier. I don't know why, it's just easier. With them, it's more like, if I reject, you're gonna be all aggressive towards me, and then there's gonna be problems. I've dealt with it for almost 10 years now, so I know it keeps being the same thing. They get mad, they get angry, they start going off, and then they're gonna be hostile. If you ignore them, it's still not gonna work at that point. You went too far. You've done the rejection thing. You've gone too far, and now they're gonna just keep going until it's a big fire, and then more people know about it than you and them, and it's just a whole big mess. So that's why I just try to leave them alone and never, like, talk to them or interact with them. But then again, that does seem rude. It does seem mean, I guess, but I don't know which other way to do it in a way where it's not a big fire. I Like I said, I've never dealt with this with any other kind of man. Other men I've dealt with, I just, normal rejection, normal situation, they move on, whatever. But this is just like, whatever. I don't know what's going on there. I think, like I said, I think it's like they eat up certain things, some propaganda or whatever about what they think about light skinned women, and they just run with it. And then when they find out that it's not the case for all women that are light skinned, then I guess maybe it does something to their self esteem. I don't know. I really don't know. I've heard some people say that they do see black men or hear from black men um, bragging about being with a light skinned woman. So maybe it has to do with their own self value. That's why they care so much about it. But it's a big thing whenever I reject one, it seems like. So I don't try to do it anymore. I just try to not talk to them altogether in any fashion. But then again, like I said, it causes problems. It's caused problems still. So yeah, that's generally my problem with the black community. Usually, is dark skinned black men and black women, like dark skinned